Today we're going to learn how to do this rotating carousel text animation. I did it with text, but you can do it with any other types of layers, logos, or anything that your heart desires. Let's get into it. To begin, I am going to create a composition. I'm going to call this my main comp. I am doing 4K 3840 by 2160, and I'm going to have a duration of about 4 seconds on the timeline. We're going to hit Control T on the keyboard to get our type tool. We're going to lay down our first bit of text here. I'm going to change mine to white. I'm going to come over here, make sure that we are aligned for center text, and then I'm just going to align this in the middle of our composition here. I'm also going to go ahead and hit Control Alt Home on the keyboard to put our anchor point in the center of our text even more. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to come over here and we're going to go ahead and turn this into a 3D layer. Now that it's a 3D layer, we're going to come over here and we're going to go to two views, make sure that our right monitor is on the top-down version. And then what we're going to do is we're going to hit A on the keyboard to get our anchor point, and then we're going to grab the last set of our array and we are going to pull it positive so that way our layer moves forward. And I'm going to position it right about there where the green line intersects with the red and the blue. Now that that's like that, we can turn this back to one view, and if we like the size of our text or layer, we can leave it as such. If not, take the time to go in and scale it around to the size that you're looking for. Now that we have that like so, we're going to hit R on the keyboard here so that way we can get our rotation. Move our playhead out to 12 frames and lay down your first X rotation keyframe and go ahead and hit F9 on the keyboard to easy ease it. Now, hit Home on the keyboard to go back to the start of our timeline and come over to our X rotation and enter in 90. And while we're here, we're going to hit T on the keyboard to go to opacity, and then we are going to lay down a keyframe at the start of our timeline and go ahead and hit F9 to easy ease it. Now, hit U on the keyboard to get our other keyframes on screen. Hit K on the keyboard to go to the next frame. Click on the opacity keyframe and drag it over and hit Shift on the keyboard so that way it snaps to our playhead. Then hit either J or Home on the keyboard to go back to the start of the timeline and change our value on the opacity to 0. Now we should have our text rotating into frame while opacity is raising up to 100% so that way we can see it when it lands in front of us. Now that that's like that, we can do the ending part of the text animation. So slide out to 1 second on the timeline. Go ahead and hit 0 on our opacity. And then on our rotation, hit -90. Now, select our middle keyframes, go to our graph editor, and we are going to pull both ends of the middle set of keyframes out to the left. Go back to our regular timeline editor and grab just the X rotation keyframe. And then what I want us to do is I want us to just pull these keyframes slightly off of the 0 second. What this is going to do is it is going to allow our text to continuously roll by rather than landing back at 0 seconds where it's not moving at all on the graph. Now that we have that, come back over to our regular timeline. Now, depending on your animation, what we can do is we can go ahead and we can duplicate this as many times as we need. For myself, I need 4 of them, so I'm going to do Control D, 1, 2, 3. So that way I have 4 text layers. If you're only doing 1 layer, then all you need is just that. And then you can skip forward a little bit in this video and you can kind of catch up with the rest of the stuff. But if you're doing a few bodies of text here to say something like how I did in the example, go ahead and follow on from here. Now that I have that, I'm going to go through and I'm going to change the text to say what I want it to say. So welcome to this, and our last one is going to say video. Now we can turn all of these back on again. Select all of them, hit U on our keyboard so we can see all of our keyframes. And then what we can do is we can grab all of them, and then I'm going to slide them so that way they are offsetted by about 3 keyframes after the middle set of keyframes. So if I grab this one like so, and this one like so, we should have it where it is staggered nicely. Now that we've adjusted our offsetted keyframes to our own liking and our own taste, we can go ahead, right-click, New, Add Camera, and the regular default is okay for this situation. Mainly what we're looking for is the camera options. If you don't have all of these camera options, make sure that your renderer is set to Classic 3D, and then go ahead and follow along with some of the settings that I'm going to change here. I'm going to change my focus distance to about 1400. I'm going to change my aperture to be 1100. I'm going to change my blur level to 250. And that should be about it. Mainly what we're looking for here is we are looking for our camera to add this motion blur and the focal distance of the text rotating into the focal plane that should be in focus. Now that that is like that, we can give it a watch and we can see that our text is animating with the proper motion blur. Now for some extra stylizing of our animation here, we can come over here, make sure we are on the middle set of whatever layer we are looking at. For me, it's this last text layer. And what we're going to do is we're going to come over to our effects preset and we're going to search up glow. We're going to find glow underneath our stylized section, and we can drag and drop that onto our layer. Again, this part is totally up to your own taste for stylizing it. If you would like, though, follow along with some of my settings. I am going to change the glow radius to 205. I'm going to change my glow intensity to 0.2, and then I'm going to highlight the glow and hit Ctrl D to duplicate my glow. And on the new glow, I'm going to change the glow radius to 1000. And then I'm going to change the glow intensity to 0.5. The idea of adding 2 glows is that we have one glow that is closer to our text, and then one glow that radiates a lot wider, but is much softer. And just like that, we have our animation completed. If you're so inclined, go ahead and also add in a logo for the last one, or maybe possibly, like how I did in the example, you can change your text color, and all you have to do is come over here and change your text color to a color that you like, and you can hit OK, and then the glow will take on some of those properties, and it will look real nice. Have fun stylizing this. If you guys like this tutorial, please go ahead and give me a like and a subscribe. It would be appreciated very much. But until next time, feel free to leave a comment. Let me know what you might want to see for a tutorial next, and I can't wait to see you guys in the next one.